Now, I know my videos are good and all, but let's just appreciate the fact that this is what I'm looking at beyond the camera. California is honestly amazing.
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Staying Salty's day, topic, week, however much you keep up with us. Thank you. Sorry if you hear anything outside. Of course, the one day I decide to film my video, the power goes out on my entire block. So they've been outside fixing it all day, but the show must go on, I guess. So if you've already seen, this week's topic is my motivation. And when I've always thought about my motivation when dealing with CF, it's been a very strange concept to me. I know, at least for me, a lot of people my age, when you ask them what their motivation is, they immediately think of job-centered motivation and how to do well at their job and get a raise, or to do well in school and study to get a good grade. But as a CFer, I have to view my motivation in a very different way that not many people, especially a 23-year-old, has to face, which is the idea of what my motivation is to not give up. It's always been a very strange concept to me when people come up to me and ask, "Oh, what is your motivation?" And I simply usually want to respond, to not die. So growing up, I honestly couldn't even tell you what my motivation was. I had always been very religious about doing my treatments and give or take a few rebel moments in my teens, but I always was very religious, always did my treatments, but I never really had the motivation to do so. It was just a habit. It was something that I knew I needed to do to stay healthy, and something I had done my entire life. It wasn't actually until I was laying in a hospital bed in 2012, not even the sickest I've been in my life. That came the next year. But the first time I'd ever been sick for an extended amount of time, and so sick I was in a hospital bed for an extended amount of time, that I had to find my motivation. I think as many CFers can relate, sitting in a hospital bed alone after all of your visitors have left, the night nurses don't need to come in anymore and entertain you, nothing else on TV to watch. My mind went places, and as a very positive, happy person normally, it went places that I didn't even know were possible for me. Like I said, this wasn't the sickest I've been physically, but mentally, that was an entirely different story. I just remember crying myself to sleep, crying to my dad, to my friends. I didn't see the point in living a life that I had been living for months already. Constantly sick, no social life, always tired, living in a hospital room. I wasn't at all the Chelsea that I knew I was and that I am. I felt like I was living a life that I didn't even recognize and that didn't fit me. And I looked at a future of what I saw was a continual cycle of just living this life that I wouldn't even call living, but rather just existing. It was that moment at my literal bottom that for the first time in my life, I had to find my motivation and pull myself out of this dark cloud that had become my mind. And I looked at my life, my family, my friends, the dreams I knew I had, and I knew I had to develop my motivation right there to essentially beat the odds and prove statistics wrong and prove CF wrong. I don't think to be motivated, you need to have this exact path with an end goal in mind to be motivated. For a long time, and even now, I don't know what I want to do in 10, 5, or even next year. But I know I want to be here. And I want to be doing something. And that's my motivation. I fight every day for my life, for a longer life. to be in my loved ones' lives for longer and to irritate them a little bit longer. I don't think motivation, at least for me, is this huge epiphany that as a CFer you need to push you to keep going. For me, it was simple. In that hospital bed, I thought to myself, what do I want out of life? And my answer to myself was pretty simple. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be loved, to have a family one day, to travel, and the ability to pursue my dreams, whatever they might be at the time, because they do change. My motivation is simply for the days that I haven't seen yet, but desperately want to. For the kids that I thankfully don't have yet, but can't wait to dress up one day. No one's tomorrow is promised, especially as a CFer, but I plan to work my ass off to be sure that I have as many of them as I possibly can. And that's my motivation. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen my other videos, I'll link them right up here. And watch everyone else's videos if you get a chance. They're all so amazing. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like us and tweet us or anything on our different social medias. I'll link them down below if you want. And be sure to tune in next week. Thanks so much. Bye.